Hey, what's up guys? My name is Rockhead and welcome to this reaction video for the Halo 2 Anniversary Terminals. I found another playlist by a guy called Unishek. Seems to be doing well for himself and subscribers. Well done, sir. He split them up into... He's got 15 videos where he plays one that goes all the way through. I guess we could watch that one. So that we don't keep reloading things. I'll stop basically whenever I feel like I have a thought about what is happening. But the Halo Combat Evolved terminals were great. They gave a good insight into Guilty Spark's is basically his life before the events of Combat Evolved and his thought process during, and how he was kind of losing his mind by becoming bored after 60,000 years. You know, that's a good amount of concentration you got there, Guilty Spark. I wouldn't give yourself too much of a fuss about it, and he stuck to his protocols very well. As I say, he seems like after watching those, I was like, well, it just seems like the Covenant and the humans are just getting in the way of something that could basically save the universe from being overrun by the Flood. So we are witnessing and playing through a very intimate scale sequence of events in this whole massive concept of what the Halos do, which is pretty cool. But afterwards, I just felt like, yeah, turn the rings on, please, and get rid of the Flood, because they're a pain in the ass. But here we go. This is a half-an-hour video. As I say, I'll stop whenever I feel like I have a thought. So without further ado...
Pursuant to Office of ONI Retrieval and Acquisitions Inquiry of 26 September 2552. The following is a target profile of Thel Vadami, Supreme Commander of the Covenant Fleet of Particular Justice, compiled by Lieutenant Commander Locke. First confirmed contact with Vadami came in 2535 on an unofficial human colony known as the Rubble. After-action reports from civilians, as well as Spartan Units 006, 111, and 120, suggest that Vadami was at that point a relatively minor functionary of the Prophet of Regret. Spartan 006 engaged Vadami in combat on the Rubble. Both parties survived the encounter. Shortly after 2535, the UNSC first encountered the newly formed Covenant Fleet of Particular Justice, now led by Vadami.
Learning some things about Thel, are we?
A few of early engagements with this fleet show that it quickly grew in size from 5 to nearly 60 ships, as Vadami cut a path through many human systems.
I bet he did.
ONI Section 3 made multiple attempts to anticipate or even track Vadami's movements, at the cost of a number of operatives' lives. Vadami eluded all such efforts, and he continued his unpredictable and devastating campaign. Vadami also stands out from other Covenant commanders in the frequency in which he takes a personal role in ground assaults.
Nice shot. Nice visuals there. So that was number 1, was it? Yeah, they do seem about 2 minutes long. So Thel was a scrub and managed to hang with a Spartan. So no wonder he got a boost in his military rank. The naming convention for the Covenant is like really religious. Obviously, it's all based on that, but they sound so elegant, and then you look at them and go, "What the fuck are you?" But I really like the culture that's been created for them. They are like run by mental bastards, but I still like the culture. We're going to do more about Thel, are we?
Camber was a major manufacturing center for UNSC fleet materials with a population of 5.6 million. After discovering Camber's location, Vadami penetrated the early warning perimeter without alerting UNSC forces and began his ground and orbital attacks before most of the planet knew they were in danger. While 17 of his ships bombed key defensive positions, Vadamy led a group of elites in a personal assault on UNSC System HQ.
Have I seen this? I believe I might have seen this one.
One of the first units to engage Vadamy was the 3rd Battalion Reserves, who were so unprepared for the arrival of the Covenant forces that Vadamy found them unarmed and defenseless. In an unexpected display of what appears to be honor, Vadamy allowed the 3rd to finish gearing up before engaging them in combat. While we've had multiple reports of a strict system of honor and ritual behavior followed by the elites within the Covenant, this is the first recorded example of such honor being shown to human opponents. But even given the chance to defend themselves, 3rd Battalion losses were complete.
I mean, how honorable is it? I've got a sword and I'll go invisible.
Across many human systems, culminating in his most devastating blow against the UNSC at Reach.
Oh, is that his end thing? Yeah, okay. Yeah, how honorable is it? It's like, wait, everyone hold up. Hold up, stop. Wait, pick up your gun. Goes invisible. Yeah, fair fight. Yeah, sure. No. It's like mock honor before he stabbed him through the gut. Yeah, I like that. Like, they're obviously making him seem like a badass by leading from the front and not, you know, putting everything on his own ground troops. Is actually going out there and doing things himself. Yeah, I think I saw that one because I saw a couple at the beginning of Halo 2.
Most recent and damaging blow to the UNSC was the fall of Reach.
I think I've seen this one too.
Oni has still not been able to fully determine how Vadamy located the planet. And once again, he caught us completely by surprise when his forces arrived in orbit and on the ground.
What a game Reach was.
Vadamy is responsible for over 1 billion total casualties and the loss of at least 7 human planets. His forces have defeated all UNSC counterattacks at the cost of 123 fleet vessels and over 23,000 personnel. And now with Reach lost, Oni and UNSC strategic AI report a 0% confidence that the Navy can stop Vadamy through traditional means. In the opinion of this investigator, Vadamy is the most dangerous Covenant military asset on the field. It's common knowledge that the Covenant have a significant technological advantage over the UNSC, but are sometimes inflexible in their tactics. This is not the case for Vadamy. We cannot predict what he'll do next, but given time, we fear he will dismantle all remaining UNSC strongholds. This agent's recommendation? Immediate termination. If humanity wants to survive this war, we cannot do it with Vadamy on the field.
I mean, that's true. He does seem to know exactly how to get around all the defenses that the humans have. The thing is, when you watch stuff like this and then you think back to the game, it's like they ended up having an alliance at the end after everything that he's done. And obviously people can go, well, he was ordered by a higher power to do their bidding, but he's killed billions of people. Billions. I'd be so conflicted. I'd be like, part of me wants to just pour a bullet in your head, and the other part wants me to hire you. I guess that's what they feel. What are we doing now? I will not have seen any more, I don't think. I actively avoided the terminals. Apart from this one, I've seen this one. This is Guilty Spark going on a little adventure, right? I hate you. Even though I get it.
Quite unacceptable.
Because his character has no physical emotion, because he's a robot, he just comes across like a psychopath.
Glorious day,
The prophets will be pleased that we have rescued an oracle from the humans' violation of the Holy Temple.
Why do you keep calling it a temple? My installation was a weapon, and one which we needed very, very badly.
But Oracle, I do not understand. We were told the rings are salvation, a gateway to paradise.
Told? By whom? Anyone who told you that is a fool, or quite mad. That installation was a beautiful tool, designed to destroy everything the Flood might feed on.
Everything?
Oh, quite everything. And if even one Flood spore survived the destruction of my ring...
Communications. Shut down all lines to the fleet. We will not notify the prophets of our discovery until I hear everything this oracle has to say.
I will gladly share what I am permitted, but we have little time. What has been unleashed here could destroy everything you have ever known.
On that, Oracle, we are in agreement.
How does he talk so badass with the thing in his mouth? Questions. Useless questions. Yes. Yeah, like other robots in media, you know? You think Wall-E, he's got eyes and they move and they make expressions. Guilty Spark? Nothing. Just a blank canvas and a voice that comes out. It's like, it strikes me as psychotic. Even though he's just a bot doing his job.
Your actions do not make sense. Proper protocol for a flood outbreak is to establish immediate infection reporting. Communications must be maintained with all local forces in order to track any spread of the parasite.
There are no local forces, Oracle. For now, all you have is me.
But I tracked multiple ships in orbit, including some remaining human presence. In light of the danger posed by the Flood, surely you can set aside this disagreement with the humans and...
No. Anything still alive in orbit is our enemy. The humans have very good cause to kill us on sight, and the knowledge you've shared with me casts doubt on the entire purpose of our covenant. If any of our ships remain above us, they are not the help you seek.
But why would they not provide assistance? Because of this talk of prophecies and journeys? I learned a small amount about your covenant before that reclaimer blew up my installation, but my understanding is incomplete. The AI I encountered on board one of your ships was less than forthcoming.
What you need to know, Oracle, is that thousands of years ago, at the founding of our great covenant, a bargain was struck between the prophets and the elites. A bargain which I fear will be the end of us.
Interesting. Yeah, I need to know. I want to know more about. Obviously, don't tell me. But I want to know more about the Covenant AI, because when I saw that when I was playing Combat Evolved, I was completely blown. I had no idea what was going on, obviously, because people were like, you shouldn't be watching them right now. But even after watching it after I play Halo 2, I don't remember having to deal with any Covenant AI at any point. So unless that comes into play in Halo 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever the hell we're on now, I don't know. But, you know. Yes, moving on. Purple, pink. Very nice visual.
Regarding the history of the Covenant and its glorious founding species, the San Shayum and Sanghili, the record of punished deeds would not be sufficient without a word on the Arbiter. Not the consignment of shame that it is currently, but what came before. The legendary warriors of Sanghili past. Long before the Covenant, the Sanghili ruled their world with pride and vigilance, surviving the perils of both land and sea.
Okay.
These were the arbiters of old. Part king, part judge. Warrior rulers, unlike any of which would follow.
Basically Spartans.
When we arrived on their frontier world,
That's what they remind me of.
Olgathon, the cost of life was severe. Led by a mighty arbiter, the Sanghili resisted our entreatment with ruthless force, leading to decades of war. We would eventually triumph, of course. And when we did, we would not ignore the mantle of the Arbiter. Like all things, we would bend the Sanghili to our own ends. The Arbiters would become the very will of the Prophets.
Yeah. A warrior race that basically got coerced into doing the dirty work for people, a species with a golden tongue, it seems, because they don't seem like warriors that could handle themselves. The Prophets definitely didn't seem like they could handle a confrontation. But it's cool. They reminded me of like Spartans with the Arbiters. You know, now the Arbiter's like the ultimate warrior. Not that ultimate warrior, not the rope shaking face paint guy. No, not him. You know what I mean? Like the guy that as soon as he steps on the battlefield, you're like, ah, shit, we should all run.
For generations, our holy arrangement put the Prophets in charge of religion and technology. The elites led our military forces to convert new species and find relics such as your halo.
Nice.
And these relics you sought, the Sanshayum, your prophets, told you that they would lead you on this great journey?
Yes. Transcendence, eternal life. Their promises were endless. We gave up our old ways to follow the Prophet's lead on the great journey. Gave up all of our history. All of our traditions.
In other words, they're really good politicians.
This arbiter you mentioned, hasn't that always been a position of power for your species?
Power? It was long ago. An arbiter was once the pinnacle of our people, leader of the clans, and master of the battlefield. But then, an arbiter committed heresy, and an example was made of him.
Heresy?
He challenged the word of the prophets. Challenged and lost.
How did he lose? Or did they just set others on him? Okay.
So the title of Arbiter became a badge of shame for our most spectacularly failed warriors.
Okay.
Yes. They were accomplished manipulators. Back before the firing of the array. I see at least that hasn't changed.
Manipulators? What? And before? Before when?
I will explain later. Right now, I want you to tell me everything you can of these arbiters.
Okay. Well, Guilty Spark actually knows a little bit about the prophets, manipulators. They're politicians. They do it well because they've been able to coerce an entire race of warriors into killing and collecting things for them, even though their promises are complete horseshit, which they probably know. I hope, because how could you? Unless they're just like, well, if we die a certain way, then we get eternity of bliss or whatever the hell, you know, cult-like shit. Drink this drink. We'll go on a special journey across the universe.
Our holy city was not always as it is, nor was the Covenant. At one time, it was only Sanshayum and Sanghili. But as we grew, and new species were added to our number, radical steps had to be taken. Our first encounter with the Lek Golo was an effort in futility.
Yes.
The blasphemous creatures had devoured a Forerunner orbital, shattering its remains into 1 trillion pieces. What was left became the rings of Te. As no conventional methods could purge the rings of their infestation, we sent one of our most faithful, an Arbiter. For a full year, this Arbiter ventured across the surface of one of their moons, learning both their strengths and their weaknesses. It was there that we discovered the Lek Golo's secret.
I think I've been shown this.
Although some of their kind rightly bore the blame for the orbital's desecration, others had only devoured around the Forerunner materials.
Yeah, they're hunters.
And much labor. These could be used to serve the Covenant.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
And by these means, the great Arbiter had given us one of our most sought-after treasures. Access to innumerable processing pathways of the mighty Forerunner Dreadnought, and to the many secrets it held.
Right. Yeah, someone posted that on the Discord, the hunter forming itself from those worms. That's a really terrifying proposition, because would they die? Really? I mean, it looked like you just shot him and they dropped to bits, and then they would reform into something else, I guess. But yeah. Hunters are terrifying. Unless, it's Combat Evolved, you've got a pistol.
It is most unusual that in all the exploits of these Arbiters, you never mention their role in choosing their missions of redemption.
There is no role, Oracle. Once one of our commanders becomes an Arbiter, he belongs to the Hierarchs.
These Hierarchs, they are the same High Prophets who control all the holy relics you collect from my time?
The same.
And they use these relics to build your new weapons and bring you the word of your gods?
It has always been so.
Interesting. Am I a holy relic?
I do not understand.
Because I am certainly not a god. I am a tool, as is this mining platform you stand upon, as was the installation that once orbited the planet. The Forerunner's technology is lasting and indeed quite powerful, but I'm quite certain they would have told me if I was infused with some kind of divine power. I suspect some of your prophets may have been quite aware of how much divine inspiration tools such as myself could provide. And you never questioned these proclamations. Even your mightiest warriors, these Arbiters, never questioned?
Well, the one did.
Questioning was what brought shame to the word Arbiter long ago, Oracle.
How disappointing.
I fear now that there are many questions we should have been asking for a long, long time.
I would be more than happy to answer any such questions, but I have a few more for you. Continue your tale of these Arbiters.
Please do. I'm interested in learning more about them. Just roll straight on to the next one. That one was pretty empty. Beautiful.
Whereas most species were grafted into the Covenant by faith or mutual beneficence, the Ungoi were not such. Their kind was brought into the fold by force, and it was by force that they were held captive.
Lovely.
Their world had no prayer against our might and majesty.
Slaves.
And their peoples were quickly laid low, many of them brought into subjugation.
Oh dear.
Yet while some species would perish under such pressure, others rise to the occasion, taking arms if need be. fighting back. Such it was for the Ungoi when their feud with the Kig-Yar led to rebellion. An effort by the Kig-Yar to sterilize the Ungoi population was met with stiff resistance, and for a time, the holy city was thrown into chaos. Once fully provoked, the Ungoi were merciless in their violence, lashing out at all species. Their large numbers and their tenacious volatility made them a suitable challenge, even for the elites.
Unless you kill a leader and then they run away.
To an arbiter.
Oh.
And with a ferocity unparalleled since the beginning of the Covenant, the Ungoi world would be reduced to glass. Those within the holy city would be forced to watch, unable to stop what could have been the very end of their kind. The Ungoi rebellion was brought to an end by the Arbiter's hand. Their world was not completely lost, and those who survived within high charity found some measure of mercy. They had proven their worth in combat, and would now serve alongside the Sanghili in battle.
Oh wow, yeah, that's such a... It's almost like, you know, they have no fucking choice. Their world was just turned to glass. What else are they supposed to do? Rebel more and just be wiped out? And no.
I'm starting to fear that you're not very smart.
Mind your tongue,
Brilliant.
Oracle.
Oh, I mean no offense. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your species. How long have these prophets been anointing arbiters?
Since the fall of Falchavami, the first disgraced arbiter, roughly 400 years ago.
Incredible! And in all this time, it never occurred to you how convenient it was that your prophets were able to find a powerful, capable leader among your people, who happened to suddenly commit a terrible blasphemy every time the power structure of your covenant was threatened.
I do not understand.
You do
Yeah, you
little
do.
to dissuade my fears.
Then teach me.
Looking back at the record of the arbiters you've discussed, was it not surprising to anyone that those chosen to become arbiter were more than simple warriors?
How so?
Each of them had significant political influence among your people. In some cases, that influence was already being used to question the decisions of your hierarchs. In fact, that very questioning often gave rise to the charges of heresy that so neatly removed the challenger from the hierarch's concern.
And once they were branded arbiter,
They promptly and quite cheerfully ran to meet their deaths.
all
Yep.
our lives we look down at the path, put our feet where the prophets tell us. All our lives spent convincing ourselves of the truth of our covenant. Could all of it truly have been wasted?
Let's hope not all of it, for we have a great deal of work to do. The flood is still out there, so I require a cooperative reclaimer to enact proper containment procedures. But your covenants keep trying to kill all the reclaimers I can find. All this bickering is quite a deadly waste of time. Right now, the most important question we can ask is this: who could break this hold the prophets have over you?
Oh, crap. A spore. Yeah, I mean, that's indoctrination, though, isn't it? Like, over hundreds of years or thousands of years, just leading people in one direction. They don't question it anymore. I mean, it doesn't even need to be that long in real life. We won't go into a political... Let's just say politics is different everywhere in the world, and people seem to blindly follow that without questioning it anyway.
The history of the Arbiter is one of both legend and infamy. Their name has been corrupted by great shame, though the contemporary is perhaps the most confounding of all. Thel Vadimi was born of noble blood, the legendary House of Vadam. His family's renown demanded great expectations for his military career, and he would meet them all.
Jesus. Ow!
One of the youngest to achieve the status of shipmaster, and one of the youngest to gain the rate of supreme commander. In our campaign against the humans, few have risen to renown as Vadami. World after human world, all laid low for the sake of the great journey. But then came Halo. Shame unto shame. He failed his greatest charge, and the sacred ring was desecrated. By such disgrace, Thel Vadami became the arbiter. As a mere scribe, I do not challenge the word of the hierarchs, but I would be remiss not to voice concern. This Sanghili should have been put down, publicly slain as an example to all of our prayerful expediency.
Wow. Seems like they're just waiting for them to fuck up once.
And the changing of the guard. All things are in jeopardy. Will this arbiter remain loyal? Or will he stand with his people as they are abolished by our newfound might? I would never openly challenge the divine proclamations of a hierarch. But this arbiter is a risk I would not have tolerated. And I now fear the days of the Covenant are numbered.
Well, as it was, yeah. Because they replaced the elites with the brutes. This is awesome because I'm getting to see the opposing perspectives again. Like the Halo 2 is opposing perspectives of the humans versus the Covenant from an elite's perspective, Thel's perspective. But then you've also got these terminals, which is kind of like Thel's perspective, the heretic leader's perspective, and the the prophet's species race perspective. It's awesome because it's kind of showing the underhanded conflict between them all. It's very complicated, but I like that because you can see the manipulations and the actions involved with Halo 2 story. So it's cool. It's cool. Very cool.
The only one I would trust with this information is probably dead right now. He was commander of the fleet that brought me to the system. Thel Vadami was his name. But after hearing you tell of the destruction of the ring, I cannot believe that he still lives. His orders were to secure the ring, to prepare it for the arrival of the hierarchs. Vadami never fails in his duties. If the ring is no more, then Vadami must be dead.
Duty can indeed be a dangerous virtue. But even if he did live, wouldn't this sense of duty make him quite unlikely to set aside his allegiance to the prophets?
Perhaps not. And he would never betray our people. No, if we were able to just speak to him, explain everything you have told me. But no, these are futile hopes. If he did live, and if he was returned to the High Prophets, they would most certainly punish him for the destruction of the ring. In fact, he would be the exact kind of leader the hierarchs would make arbiter. They would need someone to blame for the loss of the ring. His influence within the fleet grew with every one of his victories over the humans.
And if he did become arbiter?
Then he would be lost to our cause. Without the knowledge you've shared with me, he would obey the prophets without question.
Yeah, to begin with.
I doubt he would even respond to his former name. I don't know what it would take to overcome, but as you say, We don't have time to ask such questions, and Vadami is almost certainly dead.
If all your hopes rest on him, then I fear for the future of this galaxy.
As do I, Oracle. As do I. But
Yeah.
I will begin our fight. Make others aware of the lies the prophets whisper in our ears. And soon, we will find more who will take up our cause.
Yeah, I completely forgot that. I mean, he's talking about Thel brought me to this system and put me in this facility, and then I'm like, wait, didn't I kill that guy as Thel? Yeah, I did. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm trying to remember the conversation that they had between them, which is like, essentially the heretic leader, this guy, I can't remember his name, he jumps off the top of the thing, doesn't he, and says, I'm glad it was you. Tries to explain himself, but the light in which you see this character, the heretic leader, I'm calling him that because I don't remember his name, obviously we see everything from Thel's perspective at that point, and Thel's just there to take him down, so we don't see him in this light. This paints it in a different way. These terminals really do paint it as Guilty Spark is the only part of this that knows the absolute truth of the situation, and everyone else is just a selfish bastard trying to take care of themselves, and covering it up by saying, I'm trying to do this for all of my people. It's like, no, you don't seem to understand. The flood will kill everything, so we need to kill the flood. These are really cool.
Activate the Kindler. Make haste. We have little time. It has been found, Commander. Very well. Mark the coordinates and proceed with caution.
Who the hell is that guy? He's got an awesome helmet.
And to think, it has been under their noses all this time. Humans are foul animals. They lack the intellect and the purity to discern the ways of gods. Prepare the luminary for retrieval. The Hierarch will reward us for our devotion.
That is amazing. Really nice.
Well done, Commander. Do you know what you found?
A luminary Hierarch. A divine instrument.
It is more than that, Commander. This is the one spoken of in the prophecies. It lights the sacred path.
Oh.
Stewards, good news, I pray?
It was not easy, Blessed One. The luminary was not forthcoming with the holy words, but our hope proved true.
Oh shit, they found them all?
The sacred rings.
Shit.
Halo.
And not Halo alone, High Prophet. It also told of this. The final home of the Forerunners, and the creation of the sacred rings. The Ark.
By the gods. It is glorious. The stories were true. Where did the gods hide such a treasure?
It lies far beyond the borders of our galaxy, accessible only by way of portal. The one portal the Luminary spoke of was here. The Forerunners called it Erde Tyrene.
Our calling is clear. We must go there at once. We will take the ships in our command and go to this world immediately. This Erde Tyrene. Take heed, brothers. Your work signals the culmination of our Covenant's holy quest.
Pretty sure I saw Africa.
The great journey is at hand.
Pretty sure I saw Africa. Did I see Africa? Okay. Erde Tyrene. I believe you. I don't. That seemed very Earth-like in the shapes of the continents that I saw. Interesting. But that is all of the Halo 2 terminals. I don't think anything got spoiled for me there. Some people said I was going to get spoiled. Anything that was spoiled for me, I didn't understand until I see it later in the games. But that was fantastic. Thank you for joining me as I went through them. Some of them are really enlightening. I really like the perspective of being able to see between the Heretic Leader's story, the Scribe story, and more about Thel and where the Arbiters came from and why they are a label of shame. But that is all I've got time for. That's a 40-minute video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, look after yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.